night and day. Like,
Thank
this
God.
I knew
is
it.
a whole new world.
Bro, Brian, you didn't even bring it up the last time, and I think
did
like
it.
kudos to you, brother.
Oh my gosh,
Kudos to
I
you.
did it. Oh, okay.
But we
I'll
should
make
get
sure
on his
report
ass today, though. I
Roman.
think it would be
This
great
is-
to get on his ass today.
This is a whole new world.
It's
and
a
I'm
whole
very
new
excited.
look at this. You fucking with Al Gore's internet. Oh, can we also start off with the Supermania review of Supermania month? Also,
Yeah.
did y'all see that fucking clip of James Gunn talking about Nubia? Introducing
No.
Nubia to the DCU, and
No.
like Stephanie Williams like reposted it. It was
Oh,
he did a
really?
recent interview.
Oh
He
my
said
god.
they're already having conversations. So
Oh,
Jesus, putting that
gee.
out
Right.
there.
Okay.
All right.
That shit. Spin
Okay,
that
ready?
shit, DJ.
I'm
Here we
ready.
go.
No, I know I'm no Superman.
I want to know why Doug got a problem with my Superman.
I don't.
intro.
I
That's
don't.
what I
I
want to know.
don't- I don't have a
I see you
problem.
put your face in your
No,
palm.
I don't have a problem. Don't have a problem.
What's happening?
Here's what happened. And then we can start this off.
It's Supermania.
I
Talk
forgot.
to me. Talk to me.
I forgot
Uh-huh.
that's how that starts.
Yes.
So when it came on with banjo, I was like, what the fuck is this? And then it went into that. And so I started laughing, going like, man, I'm an idiot. Like it has nothing to do with you.
I had to make sure it
everything to
wasn't
do
a
with the
Superman. No, I had to make sure it's Supermania. month, so we
everything to do
have
with the fact that I was like,
okay.
what is happening?
I also have a problem.
Yeah,
you
right.
don't know the Scrubs theme song banjo intro.
No, I do. It's just I forgot. Like
Got
it's
it. Oh, okay.
my life
Got
has
it.
been a nightmare. So I forgot. Not a nightmare. That's an exaggeration. It was fun. I forgot. Will you just DJ spin this shit so we can start?
No, I know I'm no Superman.
Welcome to Films in Black and White, everybody. How are you all feeling? Welcome. Yep, coming right out of the gate hot, Roman.
Thank you, Patreon member.
Welcome to episode 2 of Supermania month. As a reminder, we are going down the rabbit hole of various Superman films leading up to James Gunn's release of Superman on July the 11th. So as you can see, it is the 30th. So we are talking Superman Returns. And then on the 7th, so next week, we're going to cover Man of Steel. And we got the big one. We got the big show.
It's
Yeah.
the big show.
So we're really excited to do that. So today, that's what we're talking about. We are also going to do some flyby reviews of Ironheart. So Brian's watched just the first 3 episodes of that, Brian?
That's all that's available.
Okay, so first 3 of that. I saw Elio in theaters with the kiddos, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little of the New York Times 100 movies of the 21st century. Probably rip on Vin Diesel a little bit, and then get into Superman Returns. So that's what we got. So, but in order to do it well, or to do it right, we got to make sure everybody is thoroughly welcomed and introed. So I'm going to kick it on over down to Marcus J. Destin. I couldn't see what it was because he clicked away too fast. So
We'll tell you.
oh yeah, mesothelioma, Marcus.
Oh yeah, no, I don't have mesothelioma. It's
He does not. He hasn't worked in a coal mine.
No,
We're
he's okay.
That word is very serious. I know that people have like issues with mesothelioma. However, it was brought up in our chat this morning in a way that I was not
7:30
expecting.
in the morning.
7:30 in the morning. Not expecting it, and it literally that word makes me laugh every time I hear it. I don't know why. I do know why. I used to watch Judge Joe Brown growing up. And like it was like the commercials in between was like asbestos and mesothelioma. And like, have you been impacted by
Have you worked in a building that was constructed before 1975?
Yeah, you may have a settlement that you can go like and file
right now. There are people. Call this number to get connected to the mesothelioma hotline. You may be entitled to a lump sum of money. That one.
You nailed that motherfucker. That's exactly what they sounded.
That one. Yeah.
As a kid,
Yeah,
I had no idea what asbestos or mesothelioma was. So now it's just.
I did not know what mesothelioma was. I learned what asbestos was, and then
I think I was in middle school when I learned what asbestos was, because then it was like, didn't you get that from eating paint chips or something?
Well, it's what they insulated
Houses
like a
with,
lot of
right?
buildings with. So you probably learned about mesothelioma when someone went, "Excuse me, teacher, isn't this building made with mesothelioma?" And she's like, "All right, back to work, everybody." Like that's
yeah. Chop. Yeah. Shut your ass up. Go to detention. Anyway,
don't put the paint in your mouth, kids. There's asbestos in the
Oh, don't
walls.
do that. Don't do that.
Spit that out. So
Yeah,
anyway,
please.
mesothelioma. But
Yeah.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great, and I'm happy to be here with my guys. Happy to talk about Superman Returns. My brother is in the air right now, and you'll
Not
be
above
joining
you.
us. No, not above me. He's on his way here though. But Mason will be here very soon. So
good. Well, we're excited for him to arrive. Hopefully travels go well. Mine is the rickets. For some reason, when people bring up the rickets, I think it's hilarious.
Which is a terrible thing.
That's such a wild
it's
word.
like mesothelioma, but if someone's like, "What did he have?" "Oh, he died of the rickets." There's a part of me that's like, like I can't. Like I'm just like have to hold back a snicker, like just because I don't know why it's funny to me. It always
dying of the rickets sounds like dying of like dysentery, and I can't explain to you why.
I think it's because they were like a disease of the same age.
Oh, okay. Look at me knowing some knowledge. Not really.
Yeah, you probably played Oregon Trail.
That was my only history that I was able to maintain. Other than that, I'm terrible with dates. So
that's fine.
Yeah.
I also think it's one of those things where it's like, right, like it's so rare now because we have good nutrition. So it's like, dysentery. That's like a thing from 200 years ago. So it's like, wait, what?
So was the measles until we.
Until recently, everybody.
Yeah. Right.
Look at us. Other than that, doing well. Y'all, I made some pulled pork this weekend.
Oh, look at this guy. You got right to the smoker.
Yeah. So it was
he's an addict.
I am a grill addict at this point.
Good.
It was a process. I had to smoke that shit for like 8 hours. I put it on.
I believe it.
When did you start?
9 o'clock in the morning. We pulled that off at 4:30 in the afternoon. Like,
wow. Did you have to babysit it at any point?
The first 2 hours you just leave it because it's gonna absorb as much smoke as it can, and then after that you spray it with some apple cider vinegar like every hour, and then at about the 4 or 5 hour mark you wrap it in tinfoil and you just kind of like let it sit. So got it. So I had to babysit it for like a little while there, but I was mowing the lawn at the same time, so I had a timer on my watch, so I just stopped and sprayed it.
Look at this guy instantaneously started using smoker language. Yeah, I had to babysit it a little bit.
Yeah, sometimes the temperature wants to get a little fussy, but you gotta calm it down, put it down for a nap. Like I had to swaddle the brisket. Like if I say that, you all are not allowed to talk to me. I'm not allowed to talk.
Throttle?
Please tell me you wore like white New Balance sneakers too at the same time to go premium suburban dad.
No, I think I had high socks, and then I have these black pair of Hey Dudes that are like my working out, like my outside working shoes.
Fit.
But that's like a modern white dad fit.
Yeah.
Like the New Balance sneakers are like 45 and up.
But he's a cool dad.
But he's a cool dad with the Hey Dudes.
Yeah.
But what were you wearing what was up top? A tank?
I got done working out, so I was still wearing my workout clothes. Because I didn't want to take a shower and get something.
The hat is really what's important. If you go wick hat or of some sort, then you're pretty much out. Yeah, it's pretty much over.
Guys, I like to flirt with the sun when I'm doing yard work, with the bald head being burned. So
that's not flirting. It might fuck you. So you better put something on top of your head.
The sun is a giant laser, man.
That shit is with a magnifying glass. That's a crazy thing. It's really a Death Star.
Okay. When you said it might fuck you, I was gonna be like, oh, so I was asking for it then, like that, and then it got into a whole thing that we can't go down. But that's where my knee jerk, it's like, oh, don't say that. Like,
good compulsion control. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, it's like I can't say that because that's horrible. But But let's move on, please. Please.
Brian Roush, how are you doing?
Cyclops died for this. Brian Roush, how you feeling, sir?
I'm feeling great. I'm happy to be here. We are surviving with everybody home all the time. Shout out to all the parents who have kids that are younger and they're at home all the time, everywhere. So we're doing it. We're doing all at once. We're doing it. And I'm very happy to talk.
Squirrely summer, Brian. Like we are in our summer squirrel moment of like no one wants to listen to anything. They're also oddly anxious over anxious over everything, but also don't want to listen to anybody. And you'll have a mood swing of like, I hate you. And then like 5 minutes later, they're like, do you want to go swimming? It's like, what?
Yep.
What is happening?
100%. That is absolutely what is happening. And people are like, you know what? You're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss it, Brian, when you're older. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but this is the challenge right now.
Yeah.
But no, we're getting through it. I'm really happy to talk about Superman Returns. I've only seen this movie twice. I saw it once when it came out when I was in college. I saw it in IMAX.
Nice.
And then I saw it on my TV here at home now. So, very similar visual experience, but no, very happy to talk about it because I know Brandon Routh more from Legends of Tomorrow than I do Superman Returns, which I think is just so funny to me in the whole scheme of things. So yeah, anyway, happy to be here. I'm really excited for the 4th of July weekend, taking some time off. So happy 4th or happy time off to anybody that's listening to this during their time off.
Brian, do you have anything all of you, actually, like both of you, both of you. Do you all have any exciting 4th of July plans? Are you all just gonna lay low? Like, what are you thinking? Marcus, your brother's in town, so you guys gonna do anything or just kind of like lay low? Maybe
probably
cook something? I don't know.
Juneteenth already passed, so we might take this day off, but we might go catch some fireworks. We might try to catch some fireworks around town. Like that. I forgot that it falls on a Friday, and I have the day off, so like it feels a little weird, but yeah, we'll get into that. What about y'all?
I'm going to see family, like going up to North Dakota, so we'll see family. So like that'll be good. So
nice.
We'll make that trek, but yeah, it'll be good. Brian, anything for you?
No, we're sticking around here. We're probably going to do something with some of our neighbor friends on Friday with the pool, have some folks over, just keep it real low key. Honestly, just excited for a bunch of days where I don't have to work. That's enough. But we are going to be going to Minnesota in about a week here to go see some friends.
That's really cool. Awesome.
Yeah, now we're fun.
Awesome. Well, we have a whole show to get to, and before we can dive into that, Brian, could you plug our socials before we dive into Catch?
You know what, Doug? Thank you for that tee up. Yes, I would like to plug our socials. Hey, folks, you should make sure to go to patreon.com/films in black and white and financially support this independent podcast. We're able to talk about all of the Superman movies that we want, and we don't have to cover ones like 3 and 4 Quest for Peace, or we don't have to cover stuff like Superman versus Batman. We get to pick and choose because we're an independent podcast, and you get to hear these episodes the way that we want you to hear them. So go over to patreon.com/films in black and white, and you can choose the financial tier that you want to support us at. So go check that out. If you're not able to do that, supporting us on socials is the best way to support the podcast after that. So head on over to Facebook at Films in Black and White. We're on YouTube at Films in Black and White. And we're live on Twitch. We're Films in Black, the letter N, white. And then lastly, we're on Instagram.
I love to see Brian navigate that
black and white.
The problem
is
N. The problem is, he's waiting for my cue to queue up I forget he doesn't have like a list, so it's my dumb ass trying to follow him and he's following me, so we just the blind lead.
No, we figured it out.
We did figure it out. I just bounce right back, right?
No,
you're just fine. Spider-Man memeing each other like, no, you go. No,
I'm trying to read it because we both just being polite. And so like, Marcus, can you bring up the fucking socials, please?
No, you were great.
No, that was on me.
No, you're fine.
We caught the vibe.
And lastly, we are live every Monday at 8 p.m. Central on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So you can join us, join the conversation. You don't have to be a member. Just follow our socials. Head to any of those platforms I just mentioned for our live cast. You can comment. We have our Patreon member in the chat, Roman. He's someone that always inputs into this podcast, always gives comments.
Roman.
We respond to comments. So head on over. Oh, and I see the lovenerds.com now. Yes, please support my wife's website,
thelovenerds.com. Follow the Love Nerds.
Before the 90-minute monster, please. I want to do Maggie Rouse dirty like that, you know?
Yeah, get it out of the way, because we're probably going to get there today. But thank you, Brian. That was outstanding as always. But before we get into the rest of the show, we got to play a little game that we like to call Catch That Quotable.
Catch that quotable.
Oh wow!
The silky sounds of Marcus J.
Hey, what the fuck is so funny?
Was it delayed? Was it delayed for me, or am I?
No,
like is something happening to me?
No, I think we're all good here.
Can you hear me?
How are you?
Yeah, I can hear. We're all good here.
A little bit delayed.
How are you?
Might be delayed.
All right.
I am a little behind, which is fine. Gentlemen, are you ready for this week's quote?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. No, in the comments, Doug is not having a stroke.
I am not having a stroke. I'm really struggling. Like,
he's responding twice to everything. That's what I got concerned. No, I'm okay. No, I'm okay.
No, I'm okay. Nope. No. I think it's got to be your dog. Like, it's fucking weird like that. Okay. Gentlemen, here we go. What am I going to do? I know. I'll tunnel out of here with a spoon, escape through the sewers, and live as a quiet but lonely shepherdess named Maria.
So it's a play on
Shawshank.
Yeah. Can you read it again for us?
What am I going to do? I know. I'll tunnel out of here with a spoon, escape through the sewers, and live as a quiet but lonely shepherdess named Maria.
Sounds like a Will Ferrell type of line, to be honest with you. Like
we already have our first hint. It is a sequel. So it is a sequel to a movie.
I mean, I don't know. I got Naked Gun on the mind because I've been seeing more advertising for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's Naked Gun 2.
It's a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I'm screaming Will Ferrell, like a Will Ferrell, but he doesn't do a lot of sequels.
He doesn't have a lot of sequels.
Anchorman.
Your other hint is that it's animated.
Oh, now I'm thinking Family Guy because that's a Family Guy line.
It's an animated sequel.
It's an animated sequel
and a movie. Look at the intersection. Look at the movie podcast struggling to figure it out.
Look at all these things. Fuck, this is really coming together. You might be onto something.
Oh, I'm putting the pieces together around this motherfucker.
Okay.
Animated sequel.
Okay, animated.
That's when you don't know. Like when you just start repeating shit. That's when you know you don't know. Okay, so animated.
I don't know, man. Like Shrek 2. I don't know. I feel like
that is an animated sequel.
I mean, I can't really think of another movie that would like make a direct homage.
Roman, you gave us a TV show one time, so you can't play us like that. That's fucked up. I gotta confirm nowadays because Roman pulled out a TV like twice.
Okay, I'm going Shrek 2.
Okay, lock it in, Brian.
I'm locking in. It's not Cars.
It's gotta be an adultist animation, right? Because a Shawshank reference feels.
I mean, I don't know a lot of like more PG-13-ish animated movies.
Like Disney had all of those. Like Disney had all of those like made for like straight to VHS ones.
Garbage.
So it could have been any of those. So
Hoodwink.
It could be Aladdin too.
I'm gonna go Hoodwink the sequel.
Okay, Hoodwink the sequel.
Let's
and
do
Brian's locking in.
I'm locking in Shrek 2.
Okay, it's neither of those things.
Great.
We knew that. You didn't have to put so much emphasis on neither. We knew that. We knew that. Just read the damn.
Guess what?
Read the title.
Wrong. This is 2005's Kronk's New Groove, which was a sequel to
No
The
way.
Wow,
I didn't even know they made a sequel.
I did not read it like Patrick Warburton, so I was.
Well, wait, Marcus, a movie within a TV show kind of.
That is true. I like The Emperor's New Groove. I felt
I have always liked it. Yep.
That's one I don't revisit often, but when I do rewatch it, I think I like how they did that movie. You know what I mean? With commentary about it while he watched it. Yeah, like I enjoyed that a lot.
No, Emperor's New Groove was like in this. It was like in this time period where Disney was like, let's experiment, have fun with stuff. Because I think it was that Treasure Planet.
Treasure Planet.
Like, there was a bunch of other stuff where it was just. Yeah, Atlantis, and it was like all this stuff that was like, wow, this is kind of like new and going in different directions before like
and this wasn't Disney, but like Road to El Dorado.
That was also a good one. That's also I like Road to El Dorado. That's a very lusty movie, but yeah, I love Road.
It is a very lusty movie.
It's a very lusty movie. I feel like of all the Disney remakes that they do, why the fuck haven't they done Treasure Planet yet? And like, I'd hate to put Tom Holland in every single role that features somebody that resembles it, but I feel like Tom Holland might be either good at that or the Atlantis role of Milo.
Yeah. Oh, he would be a very good Milo.
Like he would be a very good Milo. Or you need something. I don't know. You can name anybody else for the Treasure Planet, but that's such a great storyline. The special effects would look amazing with that too as well. I feel like Disney has the budget, or they act like they don't have the fucking budget to execute that fucking movie.
I think it's because like there was a period there where Treasure Island, the book, was everywhere. Like that's when like Muppet Treasure Island. There was like a BBC version of it. And then there was also Treasure Planet. And we just don't hear about Treasure Island as a book anymore. It's considered a classic. I'm pretty sure some middle school kids are still told that they have to read it.
100%.
But yeah, so my mom got Harrison a copy of Treasure Island for his birthday, but it has like some oil painting pictures that are apparently very famous. It was kind of cool. Guys, that book is very difficult to read because it is in the old English, and there are moments where I have to be like, hold on, Harrison, I'm gonna reread this 3 times before I read it out loud.
I respect that.
What? Like it's just like
ain't Moby Dick the same way? Like because when you hear about Moby Dick and then read Moby Dick, it's definitely not as like. It's much better when people paraphrase Moby Dick before I read it.
Because you read it and you're like, do I need 10 chapters on the condition of the boat while they were sailing?
Get it. No. Like, dog, I get you want to chase the white whale, but get a different vice.
Look, don't we all? We've all lived through the 80s chasing that white whale.
We made the same joke, but I feel like yours was better, and that pisses me off. That pisses me off. It pissed me off because I couldn't think of it quick enough, and I'm mad about that,
man. I was about to make a Great Gatsby joke.
Half a second. What was the Great Gatsby joke, right?
I was just gonna say chasing the white whales. I feel like they were doing that in Great Gatsby with all those parts.
They most certainly were in Great Gatsby.
That's the evolution of a joke. So that was like really good. Everybody has a different version.
Lowbrow. Brian was hey, literary nerds.
Mine was lowbrow. Yours was like it elevated it, and Brian really took it to the next level of sophisticated joke. That was good.
Oh, stop.
That was great.
This is great. But no, well, Roman, good job.
Great job, Roman.
Excellent job, Roman.
You got us. Roman, why were you watching Kronk's New Groove? Was that just like on? Like, I'm interested to see how Roman runs across these movies.
I have a feeling he watched Emperor's New Groove with his kid and then followed it up with this one.
That's a good one.
Like,
I like
that's
a good sequel.
Yeah, by himself. Like now that the kids are in bed, I'll watch the one where it's all Kronk.
It's all Kronk all the time.
Okay.
I'm about to Kronk one out.
Okay. Gentlemen, let's talk about I want to talk about the New York Times and their 100 best movies of the 21st century. Here's the reason why I want to talk about it. Because y'all,
Can somebody pull up the list?
Yeah,
I've got it. Here's the reason why.
Doug's got it.
Because this gif of I have been watching Leonardo DiCaprio do this for 20 minutes. He's been fighting this fucking Lamborghini for 20 minutes. And I keep looking over, and to be honest, the more I watch it, the fucking funnier it is.
Doug, you have to explain to people that are listening what it is.
So this is the scene where Leonardo DiCaprio comes out of the country club on Quaaludes, and he needs to drive home, but no one else can drive him home. So he's like, well, I can just do it. So then he progressively slugs his way across so he can get into his car. And he's opening the door of his Lamborghini with his foot. And it's
they put this in a movie.
Hilarious.
It's incredible. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And he did this live. That's no stunt double, ladies.
No, that is no stunt double. That is all acting. That is all acting.
Brian, which one do you like? Us at the bottom or us on the side? Which is easier for clips?
I like us on the side. If we're talking socials. So yeah, us on the side is great. Thank you. And honestly, Wolf of Wall Street, it could be higher, but I'm really happy it's it's at least top 20 of.
There are some on here.
There's someone here that I disagree with in this top list. It should be higher.
Is it? It's not top 100 movies of all time. It's top 100
21st century.
21st
best
century.
movies of the 21st century.
Of the 21st century.
Yeah, I agree with this though. Yeah.
So I like this one. There are some others in here. I'm really mad that we didn't start with 21 because the Royal Tenenbaums is 21. So I just want to scroll up to cover that. You should. It's very good. But The Wolf of Wall Street, I mean, I don't know how you I don't know how you I mean, this is just the way that he breaks the fourth wall, the way this was like how it's covered, the cast that's in it. I mean him and so like Leonardo DiCaprio, Jonah Hill is outstanding in this. So like, yeah, it's outstanding. Like this one's just really good.
So can we go through it this way? Because I know we're gonna cover our top 20. Can you scroll through? I'll read through our top 20 and we can stop at any point at any movie we want to just kind of like if we feel like something, if you disagree with it or you like it in its positioning. I kind of want to look at it like that from our perspective, because I know a lot of people are reviewing this from different ways. But I just want to see if y'all are fucking with this top 20. Where it ends.
Yeah. So 20, Wolf of Wall Street. 19, Zodiac. I'll also read the director and the year. Just so that way we
let's do it.
Wolf of Wall Street, Martin Scorsese, 2013. Zodiac, David Fincher, 2007. If you've heard David Fincher's name before, he did a series on Netflix called Mindhunter, was about the start of the FBI. Specifically their like serial killer division. So this is very on brand for him. Don Perignon is not a movie. Y Tu Mama Tambien by Alfonso Cuarón in 2002. Starring a young Diego Luna. This is an outstanding movie. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, this one's very, very good.
Brian, get out all the movies I've never seen, because I think it's going to be a couple in this list.
Brian, Marcus, this one would be very much on brand for you because there is a MILF in it.
What
so
the
fuck?
I saw that coming a mile away, and I tried, Marcus.
Without knowing the plot,
I'm so glad you did, and no one stopped.
Damn.
Yeah, you don't. That's all I'm gonna say. Like the rest of it's good.
It's not that I don't love
aka
it's
the
just
worst.
I love more things.
Brokeback Mountain, aka the worst date movie you could attend in the history of the world.
Is
2005, Ang Lee.
Wait, Ang Lee shot this movie? Incredible Hulk Ang Lee?
Ang Lee.
Of
Ang
the
Lee.
Hulk.
Yep. And then Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, also Ang Lee in 2000.
Damn, they really like it. They fucking with Ang Lee.
Back.
I agree with both of these, by the way.
Also, that means Ang Lee did.
He did Hulk, Brokeback Mountain,
Ang Lee did
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon,
Hulk, and Brokeback Mountain.
So, which one of these things is not like?
If you put it on a piece of paper, everybody would look at it and be like, "Okay, tell me what do all these movies have in common?" You wouldn't be able to tell me. You wouldn't be able to tell me. However, I do think that Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and Brokeback Mountain are movies that are culturally like embedded into any movie conversation, I think, right? Like you bringing up Brokeback Mountain, whether it's a joke, you know, a lot of people had jokes about the movie, but that it is also like just a good movie, you know what I mean? And Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, my mom loved Westerns and old karate films, and this is one that is like probably one of the first I saw before you go back, you know what I mean? And so like this is a legendary movie, so I think it probably could have been higher, to be honest with you. But
and yet again, a series in another of like the saga of Doug. This is a movie that I wanted to see, so my mom found a all Chinese version of it and took me and like 6 of my friends to the movie for a birthday party.
Wait a minute. Okay, slow down.
That's so you, Doug.
Slow down. Yeah, wait. Go back up. Hold on. Your mom. Well, I have a couple questions. Your mom, found an all Chinese version.
Yes. And then so, like in the original, like a subtitled version of the movie, not a dubbed version.
Did she find that version on purpose and then decided to take y'all to the movies?
No, I think she found it and then
okay, got it. Did she know that when she got there?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, because she was trying to culturalize you motherfuckers. Like,
I was into like my friends, the friends I hung out with at the time, like we were all into movies. So she was like, well, why wouldn't they want to see it in the original?
Makes sense
Chinese?
to me. I fucks with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Way to go.
I like
that. City of God, Fernando Meirelles. 2003.
I don't know this one.
Another good movie.
I don't know that.
Really good movie.
I catch this in the middle.
The slums of Rio de Janeiro.
Okay, I'll add that.
Inglourious Bastards. Quentin Tarantino, 2009. That one makes sense.
Yeah, I remember when all the Nazi movies came out.
It was really weird, like in the early, the early 2010s and the late 2000s. It was like all zombies and Nazis, and it all culminated in Call of Duty Nazi zombie mode. I feel
that was the pinnacle. That was the list, like right before it all.
That
tipped.
was the catalyst.
That's a fact.
Yep.
Right?
And then everyone's like, "Wait, you want more of both of these? Sure."
At the same time.
Yeah.
Menage a trois.
Yeah, nailed it. Children of Men.
Oh, I'm so happy Children of Men made the top 20.
I am also very happy that it made it. Now remember Alfonso Cuarón, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, I'm going back up.
Nope, you're
I'm
right.
not mistaken. He also did Y Tu Mamá También. So just as a heads up. So if you watch that, you might also like that one. Okay. But yeah, this is a great movie. Like I think this is a sleeper movie that a lot of people didn't see or weren't unsure of, but then like when you go back and watch it, you're like, wow, this is outstanding. Sort of top like
20, top 20 worthy.
Oh yeah.
I think so.
100%. And it's kind of eerie. I'll be honest. I watched this like the weekend of release in 2006 with my buddy Brian Wall, and like a lot of the stuff they talk about, you're like, that would never happen. And like some of the stuff in this movie has come to pass in certain ways. And it is visceral and jarring, but there's some beautiful moments in it, even though it is, I would say it's a dystopian movie.
It's it's sort of like a bleak outlook for humanity style movie.
Yep.
So that one's good. The Zone of Interest. This one I'm not familiar with. It came out 2 years ago. Jonathan Glazer. So never heard of this.
I never heard of that one.
Yeah, this I remember seeing, like, it got a bunch of Oscar buzz. I really want to see it. I just never got to it.
All right.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Yep. I was caught up reading the title. I was reading the description. Definitely. This one is not. This one's not light. This is not like what's on tonight. It's because here's the title. Using the bones of Martin Amis's novel of the same name, Glazer focuses on the day-to-day life of the commandant of Auschwitz, Rudolf Hulse, and his wife.
No, I'm okay.
Don't watch that. It's not.
This one. Oh, this is okay. So when I first saw this list, I thought it was the recent Mad Max.
Furiosa.
Yeah, Furiosa. I don't know if should this be this high?
Yes, I will go to the mat for for this.
Okay.
I love this movie. I mean, it's very good. Brian, why should it be this high?
No, it needs to be this high because I talk a lot on this podcast about how movies are this visual medium, and a lot of times nowadays, right, people just say the exposition and we're not seeing it. And Mad Max Fury Road shows everything. It shows everything to make you feel so much. And I love the fact that it is kind of a rug pull that Mad Max is not the main character in this movie. The entire movie is one giant chase sequence, which is exactly my jam.
Yeah.
There's a twist in it that I really enjoy. And yeah, I think it's really well done. The colors in it are just phenomenal. I can't talk about this movie highly enough.
They did somehow manage to find a way to make a desert movie really visually exciting.
That is true.
Because for all intents and purpose, this movie should be like, oh, more driving across a desert. But there is so much, like you said, Brian, like even the GIF that's playing now, there's a lot going on. And so I agree with you. I think that's a solid justification. So yeah.
Sweet.
11 feels kind of high for me. I'm not gonna lie. I like Mad Max Fury Road.
I basically was fuck Marcus.
There's another person here.
The two of us have spoken. So
excuse me, sir. Juneteenth is over. The 4th of
was
July
a long
is here.
time ago.
Get over it. No, I think that I like Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's a great movie. I rewatched it several times. 11 feels high based off of. I think there's some other movies that deserve to be in this spot, but that's me.
My guess is that this is probably the highest rated action movie on this list. That's my guess.
Got it.
Yeah,
maybe we're looking at it from that perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because everything else so far has been not action movie based. It's been more
Crouching Tiger. You could argue Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, maybe I'm lying.
But even
Crouching
then,
Tiger was a good pull.
But even then, Inglourious Bastards. I mean, an action movie, I would say, has action woven throughout, and I would say that's more of a character piece than it is anything else.
It's more espionage than action, in my opinion.
I mean, we
can not to say Mad Max is not. Right, because it also has this version of character development and things like that too. So I don't want to come off like that. I just think that this feels a little high. That's it. That's it.
I can see how you got there. Yeah.
Yep. 10.
Social Network. Another David Fincher.
I agree with this. I don't agree with them making a sequel to this movie because I don't know what the fuck
they're doing. A sequel to this?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So. I will say The Social Network is a good movie, and I think that seeing what Facebook has become and what Mark Zuckerberg and everything that has happened with it's a crazy story, and I love Jesse Eisenberg, so I feel like
yeah, Marcus, you're on top of it. That news came out 5 days ago. Aaron Sorkin is going to direct the sequel, which good luck, everybody.
Yeah, that's going to be a shit show.
That's a lot. That's a tough task.
I don't think I like that.
No, me neither.
No, I don't like
you heard my knee jerk real time.
I don't think I like that.
Coming up at number 9.
Number 9, Spirited Away. Hayao
I agree.
Miyazaki. I would also
agree with
agree.
That. I agree.
Yeah.
And shout out to Megan Rachel Shaw. She loves Spirited Away.
It's an all-timer.
Miyazaki. Yeah,
it's a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean,
yeah.
And I would say I wouldn't be surprised if we went back up. I bet there's more Miyazaki films that are in this.
Probably.
If we went and looked at the others,
I bet a lot of bangers.
He has a lot of bangers. And even some of the ones that aren't bangers are still good. Like Ponyo, still good. Not in my if I had to give you I would love to have Megan to give us her top 5 and tell us why.
She does want to come up here. So
well, then she can come on whenever she wants. I mean, she is from Harvard, so she's allowed to do that.
Dr. Megan Redchurch Shaw, that is.
Dr. Redchurch Shaw from Harvard.
That'll be the 3rd doctor we've had on this podcast, by the way, which is
why we
3 more than we ever thought our asses would.
These 3 chuckle fucks and a doctor.
That's me. I'm number 3.
3 chuckle fucks and a doctor.
That's me. I'm number 3.
I'm number 3.
I'm number 3.
Which chuckle fuck are you? Number 8, Get Out.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
This could be higher.
This might be this, and I think this could be higher. Absolutely.
I think this should be one, but whatever.
I have a theory that Get Out sparked the increase in racial tension. Because it opened the door to like a lot of conversations, and before we knew it, this came out at a very critical time that sparked a lot of discussion that I think went beyond just Get Out is not just a black movie, and what I think that is what makes it such an excellent film and what should make it higher, because it told a story from a black perspective primarily. To me, at least that's how I received it. I think that it definitely could be higher, but I appreciate the fact that it is not just, oh, that's a black movie. You've never seen Get Out, like it's a black thing. It's an everybody thing. I think I enjoy that.
This movie's just simply put amazing. Like this is,
it told it.
I'll never forget the experience I had watching the end of the second act going into the third act, and I feel like Ashley Williams is such a great villain in this movie. She's terrifying.
Terrifying. And you see Jordan Peele was attached, you'd be like, Jordan Peele, get the fuck out of here. And then that motherfucker,
You mean the guy who does the YouTube clips?
Yeah.
Fuck, Brian. Yeah, that's hilarious. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yeah,
that one should be there.
I almost would put that bitch at 5.
I mean, this one is. I mean, what they did with the story, and then, I mean, really, the two of them, Kate Winslet, Jim Carrey, like their chemistry, like it takes the idea of a rom-com and makes it weird, which for someone who doesn't like rom-coms works for me. So yeah.
I saw this movie once and it stuck with me. Like that's how good that movie. You know what I mean? Like it's not one that I revisit often like other films, but it stuck with me for sure.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. 6.
We're in 6. No Country for Old Men. Ethan and Joel Cohen, 2007. I mean, this is. I mean, Javier Bardem's portrayal of the villain. All of this is just. It's just very well done.
Yeah.
Yes,
I agree.
Yes.
Moonlight.
All right. Yeah.
2016.
I agree.
Barry Jenkins.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, you know why I like this. I mean, that's some deep storytelling. You know what I mean? And it had a yeah. Does anybody?
No, this should be here. Yeah. This should absolutely be here.
Honestly, this movie does the thing where like it ends when you're expecting more to happen to the main character. And when I first saw this movie, I had this really big initial gut reaction of like, no, it doesn't. No, you can't end there. And that's like, and upon reflection, it's like, like that's what sticks with you of just like how this is a life, how it's very real, and how that's how life goes sometimes.
It should be short.
Ooh, it sticks with you. So like great, excellent. So happy Moonlight is here.
Yeah, it's outstanding.
Number 4,
In the Mood for Love, Wong Kar-wai from 2000.
I've not seen this.
I have not. I've never heard of this, to be honest with you. So
I'll put it on the list.
Sofia Coppola says, it really blew my mind that you could make films in that way as a poetic medium that doesn't have to spell everything out. Okay, on board. Just
trust the audience.
AKA, it trusts its audience.
It trusts its audience.
You're in the right place, Sophia.
Yep.
Number 3.
Number 3, There Will Be Blood, Paul Thomas Anderson, 2007.
Yeah.
Again, I can't disagree with this. Oh, Marcus, you should see this one. This one is a dialogue-heavy character piece, but Jesus Christ, it's very good. And you know why it's good? Daniel Day-Lewis, because
I mean, the man's a cheat code.
I have yet to find a movie that he has been in where I don't like it, because he's in this and it's good. Gangs of New York is outstanding. It's I'm gonna say Last of the Mohicans, even though it's weird that a white man's playing a Native American. We're gonna set that aside. But all of the movies he's in are outstanding.
You hear Brian?
Oh, Brian! It's Brian. It's a problem, and it's a menace that they did that. The movie's great, but that is a problematic facet.
Did you say Jesus Christ because there's a cross in the picture? Roman, I didn't even see that. It was a guttural response.
Oh.
Amen.
Hey. Preach it.
Right.
Mulholland Drive, David Lynch, another David Lynch movie, 2001. This one is. This is dark. This is a dark movie. It's very good and I like it, but it's if you're not ready for it, it can be tough.
So before we get to number one, and we got to move on, I know, but so far, all of these movies have had darker, sinister tones to them. Does that say something about our picks for the 21st century? Like our top 20 have not been anything funny. It has not been anything like, you know what I mean? So like, what does that say about what is being voted upon as like our top 20 movies in the 21st century? They're dark as fuck.
Marcus, if I can, I think that I think the fact that they're dark is a coincidence, because what I think it is I think we have we have directors and people who are surrounding these projects who are just in their fucking bag, because David Lynch does best when David Lynch is doing weird shit. Like
I agree with that.
Mulholland Drive, Twin Peaks, Blue Velvet, like those are movies he did, and they are not fun to watch. But he is so they're fun to watch because he's so good at writing and directing those characters. I do think that's a fair question of that. Like, is the 21st century just really kind of dark and we enjoy watching it? But like, that's a fair question.
I honestly, I have a different direction to go with this. I do think that I don't know, Spirited Away, I'm not going to say I guess you could say it's dark, but I do feel like people like over the past 25 years, there's been a lot. And I try not to be like, I'm a millennial, I've seen some stuff, but I am going to play that card tonight
Resident
because
millennial here.
I have seen some stuff way younger than I should have. And I do feel like a lot of people would rather watch a movie that maybe connects with them on a more bleak note than maybe do some other things like go to therapy or talk about their feelings or something like that. I'm not saying this is the reason for the list, but I do think it might contribute to it. And I know that I know the ballots were from everyone. Everyone, actors, directors, whoever. So it could also be skewed that way too. But the fact that a lot of people aren't disagreeing with this list, I also feel like is a conversation. And so I do think, in summary, I think to your point, Marcus, I feel like these movies are connecting with people in a certain way because there has been a lot and our access to information has increased. Yeah. And so people are connecting with these stories that are a little bit more bleak than I think some other movies we've celebrated in the past.
Yeah. Because that's too, and the number one movie will tell you the same thing. Mad Max Fury Road, a dystopian movie. What was the
Children of Men?
Children of Men. Another you said was like a dystopian movie.
Yes,
that can't be all coincidence. Like I think both of y'all are right. Directors are in their fucking bag, but if art reflects life to me, then these directors are in their bag because they're telling these stories that seem to be relevant in the worlds around them. Which is the relatable component, which does mean we get like the number one movie, Doug, which is what it is. It's
Parasite.
It's Parasite. Like, which is
Yeah.
huge, by the way, right? Parasite, that's huge.
I'm so happy to see it here.
Well,
Man,
I mean, we could dive into like the themes of each one of these movies, but the other thing that I'll say is that art tends to do. I'm going to stop sharing just in the event that something happens. But art tends to correct, like they felt like depending on exposure, right? Like so, like we had like how did music, like specifically like rock and roll, how did it correct itself from like disco? Well, we started to get more like hip hop and heavy metal. How did we correct from the like glam rock extraness of the like late 80s? We got grunge. How would we describe movies in the 90s? A little campy, like a little like not as an accurate portrayal of life, right? Because it was usually like over the top or like
sure.
So it seems to be that the 21st century said like, no, like look at it. Like this look at it. Look at it. Like this is this is life. And so I think to your point and to the point Brian made too is it's like this is art correcting, and we're getting into a different style of how people are making things to try to say like we don't want campy anymore. Like if they tried to do something that was made in the mid 90s, it might get by on nostalgia for a weekend or two, but it's not like at the end. I think in terms of critical review, I think a lot of folks are going to go like, nah, man, I'm good.
Then where does it go from here? Because then when you get to pop, then people want to go, more pop or country to combat. And I would say like maybe comic book movies is that combatants against maybe these darker tone movies, right? Maybe it's a money grab, right? Maybe comic book movies maybe aren't going out there to be like, yeah, we're gonna change the game and bring people in, you know what I mean? I can't.
But look at how they're reviewed. Like critics are like another like poppy like comic book movie that doesn't have any substance.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the subtext there is like, stop showing me something that isn't real and isn't relatable. Like I want something, and it's the reason why some superhero movies have even failed is that they keep trying to ground the superhero to appeal to critics and higher level audiences, and it doesn't work. Like it makes it kind of, it's in some cases it does, but in others where it's a risky maneuver. Let's put it that way. It hasn't been consistent success. I don't want to talk too far out of pocket. I think the response for this, I think Marcus, the next thing is it's going to be, we're going to see a lot more movies about the concern for the future. Like this is very much like right now. I think even we're starting to see some folks play with this idea of, I think we're going to get a lot of robots. I think we're going to get a lot of AI.
My gosh.
We're going to get a lot of robots. We're going to get a lot of AI. And we're going to get a lot of like, what happens if the country splits in two? Like we're going to get a lot of
Civil War and Terminator movies, baby.
I mean basically.
Essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, we've already seen Civil War. Oh, I hate it. Well, here's the other thing though, is that I do feel like there's this undercurrent of like radical hope of just,
I would agree,
like kind of doing a callback to like, our last episode when we talked about Superman. I do feel like there are pockets of communities where they see something that I don't, and I acknowledge that, but just having this radical hope of like, the next generation is us. We are coming into power and we know what the score is. And so it is inevitable at this point that there is going to be a course correction at some point within the power structure. That is a philosophy that has been verbalized to me. And I'm not saying I fully agree with it, but in the context of this conversation, I could totally see it happening with movies, even with how we talk about superheroes. Like they still make hundreds of millions of dollars, partially because of the shared universe. But I do think people they want that thrill ride, that fun excitement of actually seeing someone make a difference and win the day. I think people want that. So
I also,
good question, Marcus.
I believe it.
I also think that some of these movies from the earlier 2000s, if we tried to make them now, I don't know if they would be as successful.
The audience wouldn't. That's what I was going to say, and I know we got to move on.
No, but dude, it's our podcast. Take our time.
You know what? Fuck yeah! I think that's what I was gonna say. I am more on the side of, even though I'm doom and gloom, and like the guys know, like I will hit the chat and be like, this shit looks hopeless as fuck right now. Right?
100%.
This shit outside look dark. I don't give a fuck what side you on. This shit is dark outside.
It's not looking great.
Not looking great. However, I get to work with phenomenal students and younger people than I in the next generation as I get to see them come into college. And I do see that hopefulness, and I feel the hopefulness, and I feel their fed upness, right? It's not just hopeful. It's hopeful mixed with, fuck it. Take control of your own destiny. Yeah, that's right. Grab it by the balls. I feel like it's a mix of hopefulness and fed upness, right? Fed up with us, fed up with leadership, fed up with whatever the case may be. And I am very much on the side of like, I want to see hopeful shit. I just told the guys yesterday, I love it when a protagonist is OP as fuck. I love it when the protagonist in an anime is OP as hell. Anime specifically, because I like to see the good guy be like, yes, I'm an unbeatable motherfucker. Now try to come beat me. Like, and maybe that's me itching for some wins or whatever the case you want to call it. But I think that, Doug, you're absolutely right. The audiences of today would not want to see a lot of those 2000 films right now and messaging in those movies right now.
And not even like the messaging. I just think the way that movie theaters are functioning. I'm not saying we wouldn't get them. I think
we would get them. I don't. Yes.
What you said, spot on. Gotcha. I just don't think lately it feels like, and this can bleed into like the review of Elio and Ironheart a little bit.
Yeah,
so
let's
transition.
Nice.
But here's the transition of like, it's an event. It's an event that has to be marketed in order for it to be successful. So I think we still would have gotten them, but I think studios and theaters would take losses and we would do this like finger pointing. That's like, well, whose fault is it? When in reality, the movie's fucking awesome. It's just we're not willing. Studios aren't willing to put the machine behind it because they know they only get so much. Everybody only gets 15 minutes of fame. And once it's up, it's up. And do they want to cash that in now? Like that you can't command someone's attention all of the time. So how do you budget for that? So
they only want safe bets. Only safe bets. That's it.
Safe bets.
That's what Disney said.
Safe bets that they don't have to market. Like no one has the time, energy, and effort to do Wicked every single time. Like
that's or
Oppenheimer. Like we can't do these with every single movie we're turning out. They could, but they don't because they're trying to keep their costs down, which is a whole other podcast. But like I think that's why you're seeing things like Ironheart not being marketed because it's like, this show's for the more Marvel folks. They'll show up or they won't. It's fine.
Right.
But then there's a shit there that's shitty because they worked so hard. The people who worked hard on it, is that doing them a disservice? Mark and Brian, you being the one person who's watched Ironheart thus far, I will sort of pivot into you.
Yeah, I think, so Disney Plus released the first 3 episodes of Ironheart this past week, and we're getting the next 3 episodes, I believe, this upcoming next week. And it's a fascinating kind of strategy here because it's a good show. I just want to put that out there. It's a really good character-driven piece. If you've seen Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, you're familiar with Riri, and it is a really well-done piece. Focusing on Riri and her story and how she's trying to make her way in the world. And I'm kind of tuning out a lot of the noise. I didn't look at any reviews of this show before I started because to your point, Doug, not only is this like, if these big corporate powerhouses have to put the machine behind the marketing and trying to get it to people, but we've also reached a point now where people understand the game a little bit. And whenever a new Disney Plus, Marvel, or Star Wars show comes out, there's like a bazillion YouTube videos about it, talking about how like this is like the next worst thing that's ever been put out. But people have tuned that out now. Like people don't really pay attention to that stuff as much anymore. And it racked up a number. I'll have to track it down, but like people are watching it. I'm going to say as like a middle-aged white guy, I'm not the target demographic, but I'm really enjoying the story.
Yeah.
And I think that I think it's good, and it's giving shades of Iron Man, but with a different character. And I think that's not easy to do. But it's doing it really well. There's this theme of like technology versus magic. I don't know where that's gonna go. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. But I do want to give a shout out to the show. And the folks I'm talking about. Dominique Thorne plays Riri Williams. Anthony Ramos plays Parker Robbins, also AKA The Hood. So yeah, go check it out. It's a blast. It's fun on Disney Plus. That's my drive-by review here.
There you go. Nice. Brian, I do want to take just a step back, and I want to say, like, I agree. I feel like we're doing a lot of this, like, it's the next worst thing.
Yeah.
And I want to say that, like, that's a very good reason why we don't play that game. Of, like, don't get me wrong. if something's bad, like the three of us are gonna mention it.
We're gonna tear that shit up.
We're gonna tear it apart.
We'll be real with it.
But I'm never gonna frame it as like the next worst thing because that's just not how we like to do business. Like it's just, and I think that's an important thing. So if you're tired of that, come on over to Films in Black and White. We'd love to have you here.
You tired of motherfuckers dancing all in your videos, want to diddy bop and shit? Then come over to Death Row. No, don't come to Films in Black and White.
It's like, no, not Death Row. No,
come to Films
in
Black and
Jail. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And Diddy,
all of them. I wanted to do all of them. Another movie that didn't get a lot of the marketing. What? You know,
keep going.
Diddy and Sugar.
No.
Not the killer, Tupac. I'll tell you that.
I'm setting you up, and you just keep going. Just go.
Okay. Another like Disney property that didn't get a ton of the machine behind it is Elio. I took Harper and Harrison to see that yesterday.
Yeah.
And y'all, this is a great original story.
What's the premise?
Premise is it's about a little boy whose parents pass away.
Okay.
And the sister of the mom adopts Elio, and it's very much like she works for like NASA and the Air Force, looking to the sky and making sure that pilots are safe from space debris. So she's very good at like physics and stuff like that. So like, but Elio falls in love with space, and he's like, there's gotta be life out there. So forever he keeps chasing and trying to find aliens to abduct him, to take him away, because deep down it's cute, but knowing how Pixar works, deep down it's nowhere on this planet wants me, so there's gotta be somebody up there who does.
Damn.
Like, and so what's heartbreaking, like, and is that it's such a deep, and there's such a deep moment where there's this conversation between Elio and his aunt, and he says, she goes, "Why have you been looking so hard up there?" He's like, "Because this isn't the life you wanted, and if you don't want me here, nobody wants me here, then I have to find up there." But that only comes after she realizes, like, oh shit, like this isn't he's gone, and I don't know where he is, and I need him more than I thought I did. So there's that deep whole piece of it. There's also this whole like, don't betray who you are deep down inside. Like there's because there's a story of one of the aliens is like a warring alien race, and the son doesn't want to have to war anymore, but he doesn't feel like he can tell his dad. And when they try to hide it, it creates more trouble. Of course, he was just honest right away. So, but here's the thing, like people are saying like, oh, we can't do original stories anymore. This movie's very good. Like I enjoyed it. Yeah. But the problem is, and we all had this moment before the podcast started, the both of y'all went, oh, fuck, that came out this week.
Yeah. I had no clue.
Yeah.
Do you know how insane it is that we sat here and went like, oh shit, a Pixar movie came out this weekend? That has never ever happened before.
I have a theory of my problem with this. And I don't know if we're on the same page, but here's my theory. Here's why I think one of the problem, one of the problem lies in, I love Disney. However, when you own it all and you compete against yourself, I feel like you shoot yourself in the foot, because if you have Pixar, Elio, you have Ironheart, you have Fantastic Four coming, you just got done with the new Avengers, and then like you have all these other projects in the works simultaneously. And then you said like a couple weeks ago that the budgets were being cut for the marketing and the people, like you cut people, like people lost jobs for the sake of the consequences of a COVID reaction, which was put out more content, which then put people in a mindset, and like you completely suffocated people with not just the Marvel shit, but also all of the Pixar shit that got released, and then all of the other things that got released, and we were at home and overwhelmed. You own it all. So when you own it all and then try to compete with yourself, but then you don't treat these properties like the individual stories that they should be, that's where you start getting these issues of like, oh, fuck, I forgot that was coming out. even though you tried to slow down your like production, like you're not putting out as many Marvel movies, you're not putting out as many Pixar movies, but I still got PTSD from when you put out the movie with the mermaid, with the little boy who was I forgot the Luca.
Oh,
thank
Luca.
you. When you put out Luca on
gosh.
top of Red Panda, on top of like these other things that all felt like they came out at this on top of Soul.
It was Soul, Turning Red, and Luca all within a month of each other.
Within a month of each other.
That was 6 months. That was 6 months. That was December, March, and then like June, which is
like, and you expect us to fully consume something when you don't even market it and put it out yourself. That's a detriment to the people who tell the story, direct the story, write the story, and then you fire them, and then you blame everybody else that nobody really wants original stories. That's weird to me.
Marcus, the best analogy I can come up with is have you ever met somebody who bought a house that was too big for them and then they realized that they had to fucking maintain it?
And fill it. Filling an empty house is
they bought a fort. They had we don't want to have kids, but we're gonna buy a 4,000 square foot house. Motherfucker, you gotta paint all that fucking you gotta keep that shit up. And what happened here is every single studio, because this is while Disney is right now the best example,
not the only one.
It is not the only one, because there has been this quest to collect the digital medium like Infinity Stones for the past 4 years since COVID. Great call out, Marcus. Since COVID, people said if we own as much shit as we can, when there's a crisis, someone's going to turn to us and we'll have all of it. And the problem is they fucking forgot that they have to then maintain it all. And they went like, oh, fuck. We have a TV division that's getting a series of Iron Man characters, but then we also have Ironheart, but then we also have Pixar, and somehow I have $10 and I need to buy a new house. I have to buy a new roof. I have to paint it, and my dishwasher's broken. Well, fuck. Like, which one do I do first?
And something's gotta give. That's the life of holding so much. Like the dam eventually will break. And you got to decide who gets the repercussions of that.
The equivalent of laying people off is like, well, I can't afford my gardener anymore, so he's got to go because he was the problem. It's not the problem. It's you're an idiot. That's the problem.
Well, and I just want to I want to say this release schedule out loud. Like these movies that are aimed towards like these younger audiences and demographics. Moana 2 came out just this past November. Mufasa the Lion King came out this past December. Snow White came out in March. And then we had Lilo and Stitch last month. So like Elio kind of just gets like the short end of the stick here. And I do want to say, though, we've seen this before with Elemental. I want to use a case study where Elemental had a terrible showing at the box office. Same thing, Doug. Great movie. Phenomenal movie. And it grew legs throughout the summer as like the default kids movie. I don't know if the same thing is going to happen here. I should say default kids movie at the theater. So my hope is that this is what happens with this movie, and maybe this is a planned strategy, but it doesn't feel that way. Like it doesn't feel that way.
4th of July weekend would be your time, but you've got Jurassic Park coming out this fucking weekend.
I do think it's weird they didn't counter program, but that's just me.
I also think it's weird. Here's the other thing, Brian. The only difference than this and Elemental is that of the movies you listed, the only one that I can distinctly remember there being a marketing push for two are Moana, Moana 2, and Lilo and Stitch, because they couldn't market Snow White because of reasons. They couldn't market Snow White. They barely marketed Mufasa, and they didn't market Elio. They just didn't. Like there was no press run. There was no, I mean, shit. The only thing I remember from Lilo and Stitch is they have a little robotic Stitch that they put on the red carpet. The fucking IGN did a goddamn interview with a version of Stitch that wasn't there.
They did.
That is an intentional marketing effort. Did anybody bother to interview the aliens?
I didn't see the rest of the cast
of
there. Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see the rest of the cast.
They didn't even have the little girl who played Lilo. They said, "Fuck it, interview a cartoon."
Wow.
Yep.
Hey, this is a good time to help us remain independent. Go over to patreon.com/films in black and white so we don't have to interview a made-up Stitch. Join our Patty family at patreon.com/films in black and white.
Here's the thing. If Disney was to call us, we will also tell you all the things we love about Disney. But I think this is one of my favorite things in this fucking world. Is if you love something and if you're passionate about it and it fills your cup and it makes you happy, the other side of that fucking coin and anything that you do is accountability. You got to hold that thing accountable for like everything that it brings you, which means you got to be honest. And if I'm being honest, quality over quantity, even though it's Pixar versus an MCU film versus another insert like Disney's other realm, when you've collected the Infinity Stones, what the fuck happened to Thanos? He snapped his fingers, his arm got blown the fuck off, and he had to fucking retire. But he rested, right? If you connect the Infinity Stone, you blow your fucking arm off because you got all the power in your fucking hand, but then you just like, no, y'all, I gave that up. I destroyed the stone. I used the stones to destroy the stones.
And here's the other thing. It's great. Like, let's stick with this fucking analogy. You have to have the ability to wield it responsibly.
Yes.
Like, not double it. Hey, instead, now the opposite of Thanos. They didn't cut all the resources in half. They said, snap your fingers and double it.
Like, give us the KFC double down that shit. To give us more.
That's not the answer.
No. In both
nobody knew what the answer was. Like, I don't want to be an asshole. Like,
and here's the thing. Here's the thing. I will give studios credit. The audience demographic and what audiences want is changing.
Yes. And you got to figure it out.
And it is very hard to predict what is going to do well. How to Train Your Dragon, the live action. We on record went on this podcast and said, bro, that ain't it. Like, it's not going to work. It's going to fail. That movie has had an outstanding run. And it's still doing well. I never in a million years would have expected that was going to do that well.
It did so well. I didn't hear people talking shit about it. The only thing people kept hearing was like, well, why would you cast a black person to play the lead? I forgot the young lady.
That's how you know a movie's doing well.
That's how you know that a movie's doing well, because that was the only thing. That was the only thing that I heard.
When you take issue with your racial castings, that's how you know a movie.
Well, I think the movie would be great, except if you didn't.
You know, it was great except for the goddamn black girl.
Yeah, shut the fuck up,
down, Rick.
You should look in the fucking mirror and ask yourself, well, why does that fucking matter? It's not close to the source material. It's a fine toothless dragon. Shut the fuck up.
The source material is about flying lizards that have wings. Like, just chill out, man. Anything can happen.
God damn.
Yeah. Speaking of flying, we watched Superman Returns.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
And so we are going to dive in and pivot. That was a great discussion, y'all.
Excellent.
We're going to pivot on over to Superman Returns. Marcus, you are our resident Kryptonian, so you got to run us through all of this. Now, today, I have seen this movie before, and I watched it while working and sending some emails, but I also dove down the rabbit hole, and I have some fun facts that I want to talk about.
This is good. Okay, so just in brief, Superman Returns is, and for those that are listening, I'm keeping an eye on my phone, so don't mind me if I'm distracted. My brothers, I'm in the air, so I want to make sure he's like good. But Superman Return takes place 5 years after. Okay, so technically it takes 5 years after Quest for Peace.
No, technically this is a sequel to Superman 2, and it ignores 3 and 4.
That is accurate.
That is good. That's okay. So technically, I'm going to be honest with y'all from the jump because I don't want to be biased. Superman Returns is not my top Superman movie. It is a good Superman movie. It's a fine Superman movie. I think it's good. I love what they try to do. It's fine. It's not my top. Okay,
if we're using comic book grades to say it, yes, this is fine. It's not near mint. It's not very fine.
Yes,
it's fine.
I'm lucky to have it. However, it's like not my go-to. Like
I
that's
completely
kind of what I was saying,
understand.
right? So it takes place 5 years after Superman 2, right? Superman returns, but he left because I was about to say astrologers, but like the scientists found proof that Krypton and remnants of Krypton still existed. So he went out and he flew out to go to see if there was any life remaining at Krypton and all of these other things.
This
Fun
blurb
fact
explains all of it.
Fun fact in the movie, and I'll read this blurb. Fun fact in the video game for Superman Returns, they say that Lex Luthor is the one that planted those seeds that Krypton was out there, and that was bait for Superman to go out there for him to do what he wanted to do. Yeah, that's in the in the Superman Returns video.
This is a great chance for me to interject. This is a great chance for me to interject my fun fact that I found.
Yeah,
there is footage that Bryan Singer shot of Superman going to Krypton.
Yes, I do remember that. Yes.
What? It cost $10 million to shoot because he shot it in all IMAX and it never made it into the movie because it was not something that every theater could play.
Wait a minute.
Doug was sitting on that bomb. That's crazy as fuck.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Okay, wait a minute. They shot an entire sequence with Brandon Routh going to Krypton that cost $10 million, but they can't use it because not all the theaters could play it?
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Where are you?
So I want to read this blurb. On the doomed planet Krypton, a wise scientist placed his infant son into a spacecraft and launched him into Earth. Raised by a kind farmer and his wife, the boy grew up to become our greatest protector, Superman. But when astronomers discovered the distant remains of his homeworld, Superman disappeared. In the video game also, what I think is also interesting, it shows while Superman was out and on his way to Krypton and like on his way back, he ends up fighting and like me going to other planets. Like it takes place. It's like the video game expands this story in such an interesting way. $10 million to shoot that scene and not release it is fucking nuts.
Okay, here you go. Superman Returns, a IMAX 3D experience, was released simultaneously in 111 IMAX format theaters worldwide. It included 20 minutes of converted 3D film material. One of the key scenes Singer took out was the return to Krypton sequence. $10 million was spent on this sequence alone, but it was deleted. He noted that it could not be released as a part of a DVD featurette because it was converted to IMAX 3D. So the reason why they couldn't do it is they converted it to 3D film, so you literally couldn't use it for anything else.
You wasted 10 million tax dollars for this shit.
You know what, work and I get worried if I like don't use $20 worth of napkins. I can't imagine.
Guys, I don't buy pens. Like I just like pull pens from wherever I can find them. I steal pens from hotels and I go like, need a pen? Like here's the Marriott pen. This man spent $10 million and said, guess we can't use it.
And still killed Cyclops for this shit. That's crazy.
Not just Cyclops. He had to step down as the original slated director for X2 because he couldn't do both of them.
I'm just so mad. I'm so mad about this. Like, because that would have been a great sequence.
Brian, this gets worse. Like, there's so many other things you could have had. Like, this script could have been written by J.J. Abrams.
Yes,
that would have been interesting.
That I would have taken it.
This is funny because the opening scene to this movie, I just remembered this. It's Lex Luthor marries a widow, which I think it's funny as fuck. Marries a widow who's on her deathbed, and because Lex Luthor he's trying to get some money, he marries her. She dies. She dies. He makes her sign the will. And then she dies, and he inherits all of her fucking money, and that's how he becomes a billionaire again.
She does die, and then he uses her.
And then he uses her hand. That's right.
Quick correction. I said right. X2. I mean X-Men: The Last Stand was not directed by Bryan Singer.
That's why he couldn't direct that.
He couldn't direct it because he was slated to do this.
Which is why they killed him. That's why they killed Cyclops.
Yeah,
I'm gonna blame everything. I have no idea why. It's weird because they did do this Marvel versus DC thing, and then decade later, they were like, "It's not a Marvel versus DC thing. You can do both." And it's like, well, why the fuck did you kill Cyclops then?
He also, Bryan
that's
Singer,
a scary scene. Look at all them white people in there.
Bryan Singer
terrified the fuck out of me. Oh my god!
Bryan Singer also had a Logan's Run remake he was supposed to do that never got done because of this movie.
No kidding. Superman Returns killed
this thing has some ripple effects.
Yeah.
Roman, you gotta Jesus, brother.
Wow.
Also, there was another movie that was supposed to be published. Warner Brothers said, "Okay, we can either do this or we can do another Superman movie called Superman Flyby."
What?
They went with this.
Wait. What was Superman Flyby?
It was basically that was the movie that was written by J.J. Abrams. But they all dropped out because they were like, well, I guess Singer's gonna do it then.
So Superman Returns, right? Because I don't want to shit on this movie too bad. I just think you made some bad financial decisions. $10 million.
It's a lot of money, man.
Yeah, you shot something so specific to something that everybody couldn't experience it. That's crazy. That's crazy. But essentially, the Superman movie, it's Superman returning to Earth, and the world has changed significantly. Now, how they shot it, as far as cinematography is concerned, you can kind of tell that it is a 5-year follow-up to Superman 2. And there's Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. It's supposed to kind of be that Gene Hackman Parker Posey as well. Kind of embodying what those characters were before, but in a little bit more of an advanced way. And a little bit more serious tone in the way that it's shot, right? He comes back to Earth, and Lois is pregnant, and Lois has moved the fuck on to Perry White's nephew.
She's got
the baby is out.
It is grown up.
Yeah. That kid is walking
the baby
around.
Is straight up out.
This is not the Fantastic
with
Four.
asthma.
Well, maybe it is. With asthma, is that what you said?
Yes, he has an inhaler in this sequence.
He does have an inhaler. So Superman Returns, Lois has moved on, and the world, not only has Lois moved on, she's won a Pulitzer for her article that is like, here's why the world doesn't need Superman. Basically a giant fuck you, right? And they find out that Superman has returned when they go fucking crash. And of course, this airplane that's attached to a spaceship.
for reasons.
I don't know why the fuck they
did
this
shit. The premise of like how we find out Superman's returned, the flight is supposed to be like you can go to space, which is like Bezos.
Yes, because she asks this blonde woman, Lois Lane asks that blonde woman, well, how much is this going to cost? Are people actually going to be able to afford this?
Yeah, and it's supposed to be like, commercial space traffic or whatever, and they're trying to launch it off of like a 747, and of course, you're not going to believe this in a Superman movie. Things go wrong.
It goes
wrong.
First of all, if I'm anywhere that Lois Lane is, if I live in the world of DC, I'm getting the fuck out of there. If I board a plane and Lois Lane is there, I'm leaving. Or maybe I should stay because I know she's going to be saved. So I don't really know.
I'm out. I don't want to be anywhere near her.
Yeah, it's either one or the other. But yeah, this is Superman Returns, like 5 years later.
Also,
go ahead,
Brian.
No, I was gonna say what's weird though about this movie is they were like, oh yeah, like the events of Superman 2. It wasn't so long ago, but then it's like they're trying to blend like the 80s style with this like early 2000s style. So it's you kind of get whiplash at times, and then they kind of give up at it at the end. Like it's like, nah, just. It's the 2000s. Go with it, which I'm fine with, by the way. Just tell me the story.
Now, Brandon Routh, I think, plays a good...
Brandon Routh?
Brandon Routh. Brandon Routh is an unknown cousin for Brian.
No,
I got you, Marcus. Brandon Routh. It's
immediate. They got on my ass immediately.
Right away.
I'm sorry. Yes. Brandon Routh, I think, is portrays a really good Superman. I don't want to shit on his portrayal. I think the acting, everybody followed what they were supposed to do, and I don't think the directing was bad. However, I am with Brian on what he shared in the group chat. The portrayal of this Superman, I think, is a little bit off. And I think it tells a little bit more of a story of Clark trying to combat and combat with life and like what he had, which is weird to me. Yes, Doug Wagner.
Would you like to know who else was being considered for this role?
For Superman?
For Superman?
For
Superman? Yeah.
Jim Caviezel, you know,
What?
Jesus Christ. What? Jesus Christ from what was that? The Passion of the Christ?
Yeah, Passion
the
of
guy
Christ.
Who played Jesus.
That's hilarious.
He expressed interest in playing the film, playing Superman. Henry Cavill, Glenn Howerton, and Sam Hegwin and Chris Pratt also all additions.
Wait, Henry Cavill. Wait a minute. Slow the fuck down. Henry Cavill.
Yes. Glenn Howerton from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
That's so funny.
That's funny, but I could see that. I could see that. And
then Sam Heughan Hegwin.
I don't know him.
And then Chris Pratt. They all auditioned.
Chris Pratt is
How did Chris Pratt get?
Great question. Don't know. The other funny thing is that Brandon Routh auditioned to be Clark Kent for Smallville, but lost to Tom Welling.
Okay.
He had also met with the person who was trying to make that movie Superman Flyby, and the widow of Christopher Reeve, Dana Reeve, said that Routh looked the most like her late husband.
Oh,
Brian, I think we're getting in trouble for showing Superman the movie on YouTube.
Hey, we're talking over it, but I'll stop our share here.
Not again, breaking the rules.
YouTube said
bad boys of YouTube.
Yeah. The bad boys of YouTube.
Just we'll wait 5 minutes. We'll show that shit again. We're trying to generate clips, YouTube. Shut the fuck up.
We trying to get rich, bitch. Like, come on, man. No.
But yeah, so that's your cast of people who expressed interest or who auditioned.
So what did you all where were you all when Superman Returns came out? Because I don't want to make it a review and I don't want to compare and contrast the movies too much, but those are still good facts. Where were you all when Superman Returns came out?
No, I mean,
I was in high school, so I was a freshman in college. Yeah, I was a freshman in college.
I'm going to step away very briefly. My brother is calling.
Oh, go ahead.
Fine,
go ahead. Go take
that. Freshman in college, working at the movie theater. So that's where I was. So
I was I was living at Cornell College over the summer, and this was like the movie to see essentially in the summer was Superman Returns. And I remember we blew the roof off the doors, like, we're gonna see this in IMAX. Okay, so like this was like the big splurge of college Brian talking about, like, all right, we're gonna go see the movie of the summer, and it was Superman Returns, which I don't fully regret, but upon rewatching this movie, I was like, yeah, okay, this is the movie I chose. Okay, got it.
That's hilarious. I think I worked at the movie theater, and I think I saw this. So, fun fact about movie theaters is that a lot of people, like, they assemble the movie and then they have to make sure like it's assembled in the right order.
Sure.
So a lot of times, like, we had an old reel, and so the projectionist would put the movie together, and then like the Wednesday before it comes out, we would all screen it so that way we could watch it and make sure it works. So I think I saw this like on a Wednesday before it came out.
Okay, cool. That's
Marcus,
awesome.
you're muted.
We'll get him back. Don't you worry.
Yeah. He's not making that flight. Good luck. He just landed in Chicago, and then they're like, his flight board's in 3 minutes, and he's still pulling into the thing.
And it takes like 30 minutes, even when you're on the runway.
Figure it out. Yeah, unless your thing is right. There was one time I got off in Chicago O'Hare, and my gate was right next door. That was the only time in my life I've ever made like a
Miles. You'll make it. Don't worry, you'll make it. Or Mason, you'll make it. Sorry.
Yeah, you'll be good. You'll get here, brother. We'll take care of you. I love that story. I was able to hear you through the headphones. Brian, what was your?
I was saying I was an undergrad, living at my undergrad over the summer, and like this was the movie we all went to see essentially, and I don't regret it. It was good. It was good to be an air conditioned IMAX theater. That was like peak comfortability for me as a college student. So
Gosh,
yeah.
man. Superman, this came out in what
2006.
2006.
2006. How old
Summer
was I in
2006.
fucking six?
So I have a question for you all that is brought up from Maggie. So this is a Maggie special.
Okay.
At any point in the movie, do you feel like anyone asked Superman or Clark like how he was feeling about anything?
No.
They don't give a fuck how he feels.
Can I actually make a point to this? Because I do love this. I don't know if Maggie was being funny or not.
No, she's being deadly serious.
Here's my biggest beef with this movie. Okay, it's a selfish one, and I think it doesn't understand the Superman character. This is me getting on myself.
I would agree. I agree with you though.
I feel like partially the reason that it doesn't really understand the Superman character is because Superman chooses to do right by people. It almost seems like they wanted him to suffer a consequence for leaving to go find out if his entire lifeline and bloodline had any hope. But when he got back, he was greeted with like, well, where the fuck have you been?
Yeah.
Like, and I understand telling a story from that perspective of like, yes, the world's greatest hero disappeared for 5 years. Everything's in chaos. Yes. Everything that they've witnessed has been like in disarray. But it's so selfish that Lois was mad at him, and I understand that. I got it, right? And Metropolis was, they received him when he's saving people, but nobody ever really had a conversation with him about being back or where he's been or
how he felt that he's even his mother, even Martha Kent says, I know, like, she doesn't try to talk about how do you feel being the last son of Krypton. Right. She just goes, I know you're the last one, but you'll always have a home here. You're not going to say like, do you feel okay? Like, hey son, how you deal with that?
Hold the fuck on. You flew. Thank you, Doug, because you flew light years away to Krypton. Yes. It took you 5 years, not because you left for 5 years searching, but because it takes time to fly light years away from Krypton. And on the way there, let's also assume that Superman's stopping on planets that need help. Let's say that too,
I would
right?
assume.
Okay, so you send him out light years. He doesn't find anything of his bloodline after having his hopes up and spending this time travel. Imagine you're on a road trip, and it's a Midwest road trip where there's nothing to fucking look at. Just you in the car with your thoughts, and you have to drive to Pierce, South Dakota with you and your thoughts with the hopes of finding some type of blood relative or bloodline or somebody on the other end, and there's nobody there. It's an empty fucking field with no results. Then you have to return, and the first thing people tell you when you get back is, yeah, well, you might be the last one, but fuck it, you'll always have a place here. Thanks, but however, I am the final, the last, the period son of Krypton.
Did you miss the part where my entire family's dead?
Hey, where my planet blew, Earth blew the fuck up. Would y'all be happy if I said, hey, Earthlings, sorry, you're the last son of Earth? Would y'all be happy?
Earth Mom, did you not hear the part where I said there's nothing left? Not a statement I use lightly.
Obliterated.
Why in this movie do I know more about Lois Lane's husband? I shouldn't say husband, fiance, and how he's a seaplane pilot. I know more about that than like what Superman saw or like why he came back.
Hold on.
How do you feel about this, man?
Where the fuck did he make his fucking money? This motherfucker, they have a house, not a house, a mansion with a boat on the lake. And she's just a writer. Hey, newsflash. They don't pay Pulitzer Prize winning writers that much. And two, who's gassing up that fucking plane so $5 haircut can go traipsing around wherever the fuck he wants to go? I
want to paraphrase because now I'm mad as fuck. Y'all done got me heated.
I did not know this would set you off.
Maggie has a really good point though, right? I think it's one of the reasons why this movie doesn't necessarily resonate with me. Here's what I enjoy about it though. it does a really good job showing you how powerful Superman is.
Oh,
right,
100%.
because it has these scenes where a bullet to the eye and the bullet creases itself. He has him lifting a kryptonite planet like a mass, right?
Yeah.
That is embedded with the crystal of his homeland and kryptonite. He's lifting that motherfucker and then crash lands on the earth.
Yes.
He does powerful shit. However, I think that this movie really upsets me because I'm gonna quote a Drake line a little bit. Not really. This is not why the movie really upsets me.
Gonna come for us.
But I'm gonna. Well, you pay me, then I'll give a fuck. Listen, I'm gonna paraphrase a bar. Okay, you left me for somebody who does what I do, but not as cool as what I do. Right?
Oh yeah.
You left me for somebody who is you wanted somebody who could fly because I flew you. I flew you off the strength of me being me, off the power of the rays of the sun. I flew you in the air. Remember you holding my hand and you whispering in my ear, like, can you read my mind? As you wore like light blue as we flew under the moon. There was a whole 10-minute sequence with us flying over Metropolis, and like we figured this shit out, and like we did this thing, and yet you left me for somebody who flew a fucking helicopter. That bitch
Marcus,
he needs propellers to get off the air. I do that straight off the synth of my own body, motherfucker. What the fuck?
Marcus, we all know that seaplanes gets everybody wet. So he flies the seaplane.
Okay.
Yeah, he can
I have
get
to
it.
appreciate that joke for what it is. The double entendre
The sea
is quite spectacular.
Pretty good.
That is quite spectacular.
It also feels like a full circle from the start of this part.
I agree.
So that was good. That was good.
I agree.
Shit.
Well, yeah, Marcus, I agree, because there's a sequence in this movie where they're just like, "Hey, here's Superman."
Amazing.
And a dude's shooting a giant machine gun at him.
Yep.
Did you see how strong he
Yep.
is? I agree. They show his power scale just so well.
Phenomenally. Also,
Marcus,
that should have ricocheted and killed that motherfucker. But yeah.
But Marcus, one of the other things that I think is important that I
Brian,
agree with
Brian, he should be dead. That man behind the machine gun should be dead.
Yes. So should everybody
It's
else on that
close.
rooftop.
Everyone. Security guards. Bank robbers,
they tried to address it. They tried to address it because the people are in the helicopter and they're like looking at the bullets hit the helicopter and they're like, "Oh fuck, Rick, slow down." And he's like, "Nope, I'm gonna unleash."
That motherfucker. Somebody is in the window below or the building next to it, and a bullet just flew through the fucking window because it bounced off of steel. Somebody should be dead.
But here's the other thing, Marcus. One of the things that I think that you and we have always gone jestfully. Yes, that one, right? That one. Do that one. We've always gone back and forth on. Don't do that one. Don't do that one. We've always gone back and forth on is like, and you've said this to me before. It's that the humanity in Clark is what makes Superman Superman.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's his humanity. It's the presence of Martha and John Kent. I can't remember the dad's name. It's
yes.
Nailed it. Good job. Look at me.
We've seen 3 Superman movies so far and can't remember the father's name.
No,
they don't say his name in this one.
They do not say Jonathan's name in this
one.
They don't
say Jonathan.
However, Marlon Brando makes a return.
He does.
He does, unfortunately.
Motherfucker's still getting paid. But it's almost like they wanted Superman, but they just wanted the powerhouse.
Yep.
They didn't necessarily want to get caught up. And this is where I think like it's not a bad Superman movie. It's just not as good as the original 2 that it's supposed to be following. Because again, and we talked about this last week, those 2 cover this balance of like the humanity between Clark and Superman so very, very well.
I love that. I love that. Brian, can you scroll up a little bit? One of my favorite shots is in there. Doug, I think that's the exact problem with that one. That's one of my favorite fucking shots from this.
Oh yeah.
Not this one. Yeah. I'm sorry. The one
him looking
floating.
down.
The one with him looking down.
I
think this is what I love. I think that this portrayal of Superman and the look and the feel is there.
Yes.
And they are really trying. I want to say that Bryan Singer is really trying his hardest to bring out that humanity through Superman's reflection of how fast the world has changed around him.
Yes.
Right.
However, I do think that there's a disconnect because I don't know if Superman would be that disconnected. Now, that's a Marcus Destin take, because although you're gone for 5 years, the woman that you love is still here. The earth, your home, is still here. Wouldn't you remain connected to it in some capacity? Like, I don't know. Maybe I misunderstood the movie, so I'm willing to say that.
I just don't think they're doing a good job of it.
Yes,
because
yes.
there's a sequence where they're trying to show that like he's disconnected from humanity, and they cover that because there's a scene where he's flying and it zooms in on his face, and it's the Marlon Brando quote where it's like, remember, you're gonna live among them, but you're not one of them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this exact photo.
I think it's that actually. I think it might be that scene.
It might be positive, but that's so they quote that line because they're trying to say yeah, he's disconnected because he had to leave and he's not them anymore.
And remember, he's an alien, and that's how I received it.
But as a character, I find it incredibly hard to believe. This man spent his whole life living there. He grew up there. His parents are Earthlings, for the lack of a better phrase.
Yep.
His parents are from Earth. That's not a switch you turn off because you want to go to make sure you're not the last one of you. Like I just don't agree with the premise.
I agree.
Yeah, Brian. What was your response to Maggie when she? Because I think that's a great way to frame the conversation around this movie.
I think when we started talking about it, it was about halfway through because we had complaints about the length of the movie. Because it takes so long for this wind up, and so much oxygen is given to Kevin Spacey's Lex Luthor performance, which is good. I'm not here to talk about like how it's presented, but like it's good. And I feel like that took away some of the oxygen from Brandon Routh's portrayal. And I feel like the way they played Brandon Routh in this was to keep him a little subdued, to make him feel like they're like what you said, this distance. But we never like get to understand why he has that distance. It's never shown. It's never even told. There's not even a terrible exposition throwaway. So like I mean that was basically what I said. I was like, we have all this time and we don't know how he feels. It just kind of feels like he's this golem doing stuff. And we don't exactly know why.
Even when they try to pull, I see you, Doug, and I'm gonna come to you. Even when they try to pull the Marlon Brando quotes, and he realizes that it's his son, and he realizes that, like, oh yeah, like I do love Lois, and Lois still does love me. It's the execution of it. I do understand the story, and once again, it's a story that I'm grateful to have in my collection of Superman, but it's not my preferred, and it has nothing to do with Brandon Routh. And it has nothing to do with really Kevin Spacey. That's a great point, Brian, that I do want to double down on, that I think they gave a lot of air to this Lex Luthor and almost like this was his movie, which I understand that build up. Because and really they took it away.
Because they wrote it for him. So Bryan Singer directed The Usual Suspects. Well, guess who the star of The Usual Suspects is? It is Kevin Spacey. They wrote Lex Luthor with only Kevin Spacey in mind, and Bryan Singer is on record saying out loud that he doesn't think a big name needs to be attached to Superman. He goes, I think we can do it with an unknown actor. He wasn't interested in someone who could portray the character behind it. He was going for powers and look, and then figured the villain would be compelling enough to pull everybody along.
He's not wrong, because Christopher Reeves was unknown. But I think that you're
not wrong.
I think your execution by Lex Luthor is not the main character. He is the villain. He's not the main. I think that this is the opposite issue with what happened with Man of Steel when we talk about Man of Steel's Lex Luthor, which was like, you need balance. Superman requires balance. We keep talking about this shit, right? We keep I'm getting so fucking frustrated. Superman is so good because of the balance. You can't kill him off because you don't know how to write him. You can't give it all to the villain and hope that Superman's light just reflects in that shit. And like, it's like, yeah, the hope will bounce off of the villain. You have to have a balance when it comes to Superman. And part of that is, you're telling this whole story and exposition of how Lex comes back to his everything, and Superman is coming back to essentially nothing.
Oh man.
And this is where we end up. It's just not my favorite portrayal of Superman.
No, this is all coming together for me. So Doug, the piece that he saw it so clearly for Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor. Marcus, to your point, how there's no balance. I'm getting the vibes that like Bryan Singer understood Lex Luthor more than telling a Superman story. Like reframing Superman Returns as a Lex Luthor story actually like makes sense to me. Like it fits in a puzzle piece in my brain I didn't know I needed. But Superman Returns is 100% a Lex Luthor story, and like Superman is kind of oddly the antagonist in the story to Lex Luthor in a Superman movie. Absolutely bonkers.
These days we would call this an anti-hero story.
This is because I was just about to say
people would absolutely miss.
Could you go and cut every Superman sequence out? Every main Superman sequence out and just left all of Lex's scene, this would absolutely be a Lex Luthor coming back before you get your individual solo.
It's
Superman
a villain
movie.
story.
It's a villain story.
Yeah, it's a villain story. Yeah, and interestingly enough, so this movie was written. This movie was written while this mini movie was written while Bryan Singer was on vacation in Hawaii with Michael Dougherty and Dan Harris, who both wrote with him X2, and they were the ones who wrote this specifically for Kevin Spacey in mind. They also did not have anyone else other than Parker Posey in mind for her role.
As Cat Grant, by by
yes,
which
correct.
is
Kitty
I've never seen a
Kitty
portrayal
Kowalski. And then what was the other part that I was getting at? They originally had a reference to the September 11th attacks, but they were removed.
Yeah, that sounds about right for a 2006 movie, though. I mean, that was the time.
But again, if you're trying to, Marcus, imagine how, do you feel how mad you are now? You're like, oh, fuck. I'm really pissed.
Doug, what are you going to tell us?
Yeah, and then imagine the same movie you watched, but someone goes, yeah, and where were you on September 11th, Superman? Like,
no, that was it.
That was what it was?
I don't think that's it. But given the tone of this movie, they would have. I guarantee you, they would have.
Because he would have left.
Because
he was gone, and you weren't here for September 11th. Oh,
you could have saved us, but you didn't.
Oh God, that's a terrible. Thank God you cut that and the $10 million shot.
Wow. No way, this movie works.
That wouldn't have aged well.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Oh my god! It would have been
hilarious to watch now, but horrible at the time.
That would have been crazy.
That would have gut punched some people.
That's such a deep philosophical question for a character that does not.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean? Like the tone of this movie is like, well, where were you? Where did you go? Right. Especially with that scene at the Daily Planet where they're trying to strategize now that he's back. Like, how are we going to capitalize on the coverage? And they're like, well, where did he go? Did he go on vacation? What did he eat? What did he do? Like. I guarantee you, if the September 11th reference is in there, it's and where was there's this? They're cutting to some like
I could see that.
Yeah, what's a Fox News version of the Daily Planet?
You're right.
Like that's that is.
Yeah,
you're right.
And I do need to bring up like the whole the fact that Superman has had a kid with Lois Lane.
Yep.
Like, can we just? I just need to acknowledge this.
That kid has asthma.
And the kid has asthma. Anyone can be Superman. Okay. And
that's what I was going for.
And
like, doesn't sound like it.
The entire third act is just kind of like, is he Superman's kid?
A lot of that.
Wink. And it's like, this isn't clever. It's not funny. It just kind of feels like a checklist of like, when are we gonna have this revelation? Got it. It was just not the most.
Lex Luthor like waving the kryptonite in his face, like, you look a little green in the gills, huh?
Right.
And it's like, all right, buddy, this is a kid. You know what I mean?
This is a child. Like, let's dial it back just a hair.
Yeah. Absolutely bonkers storytelling to tell it that way. I thought it's so weird to me that it's like the same guy who did X-Men 2 made this movie. I would have been like, oh, really? Okay. All right, sure.
It is it didn't feel like a Bryan Singer movie to me. Because if I was to match this up and go 1 for 1 with like X-Men 1, well, maybe to be honest, he wrote his villains pretty well because Magneto was they were
very, I mean, yeah, he wrote the villains of X-Men really well, and he does well with ensembles, which is why I feel like
the overall that's why the overall structure of this movie, like on its face, works. I've been like on its face, this works. That's why fine is such a great description. Like it's fine.
It's fine.
The reason that it doesn't take it to like near mint or very fine is because they're using the villain as the driver of the story and just kind of putting Superman around his orbit.
Well, and usually when you do a movie like that, when the antagonist is doing all the plot development, you're giving those character moments to your protagonist so you learn more about them, right? But like that never happens.
No.
Or it doesn't happen a whole lot. It's just more like they're reacting to the plot developments and then it's like we gotta go. Which is just
gotta go now. Go.
There's no time for me to tell you about how I feel. And Brandon Routh plays it so stoic. It's like, do you feel anything? Did Krypton take your feelings? Like,
you sure?
And honestly, this is what kind of makes me appreciate the Christopher Reeve movies more. Because he was able to show that emotion, whether it was joy or anguish or happy, like whatever it was in a Superman context. And they just, in this route, it was just like, you better be muted and you better be just thinking all these thoughts, but don't show them.
Like Superman had to be like, as you can't equate how powerful Superman to how stoic he had to be emotionally because you'll see it seems like we're getting glimpses of that in James Gunn's like Superman. The scene, the clip that they put out of him addressing Lex Luthor and him asking like, where the fuck is the dog at? Like, where's the dog? He tosses the desk. You know what I mean? So like, we see him have these emotions and like be, for the lack of a better word, be human. And that is something that we didn't really get from Brandon Routh, which was like a quiet and stoic Superman.
I mean,
again, they wanted him a silent, hulking protector. They didn't necessarily with a lot of powers. They were like, if you want someone who's going to show emotion, there's a Batman movie in 2 years that you can watch.
Remember they put out all the art that was supposed to be like the Batman, Superman, Batman, the Superman crossover. Yeah.
Honestly,
also I didn't like the burgundy cape. I'm just say that too. I didn't like the burgundy.
I didn't like the symbol. The symbol has always.
I like the symbol. I like the symbol. I didn't like the color.
It looks.
What is it about the symbol?
There's something about it being like too glossy that I didn't like. I don't know what it is. It looks like they said like, yeah, make it sleek, and I was like, I like the classic symbol myself.
Yeah, it definitely felt like it was trying to do something new with.
And they also gave him a utility belt that I don't understand why he needs, but that's
not a utility belt. It's just a belt with ass on it.
In this defense, though, and we're going to talk about it for Man of Steel. I feel like I understand why they give him the trunks because you need the definition and contrast of where the body is at, so your eye can see the
where does the groin happen?
Just humans need to know where's the middle section. Tell me where the middle section
is. I see the upper and I see the lower.
If not, it's just it's belly button, happy trail, crotch, just directly in my face, and that's not something that I really. That's not something I enjoy.
If I'm remembering right, in Man of Steel, he doesn't have trunks.
He does not have because it's more alien. I guess it's more the lines in the suit. Here's the thing about the trunks in this, though, right? These trunks are high as hell. These are like tidy whitey trunks.
Yeah, those are up there.
I would be uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable
now. Just looking at them.
This got to be riding. Like you. How am I supposed to be stoic when it's up the crack of my ass?
I think this is a good time to say, Brandon Routh. I know it didn't work out in the movies, but I love you in Legends of Tomorrow.
He got his redemption in Legends of Tomorrow and the Flash and that crossover. He did.
Yep. And I'll also say this: I don't think this isn't on him. Like, I think he did.
No,
like,
it's not.
He did the best he could with what he was given.
Yeah.
I do not think this is on him. I think this is. I have my friend Kevin Spacey. I'm gonna do this Superman movie. Like, how do I make all of this work? So
it does have a touch of arrogance to it, just a little bit, and I don't blame Bryan Singer completely. I think that there were a lot of moving elements here. I also think Superman is really hard to get right. From us doing these rewatches and watching these stories, it is very hard to make a good Superman movie.
It's why I think James Gunn's is going to be such an accomplishment.
Well, and I think it's good that it's going to be more characters, because it's, and I've talked about it before. I feel like characters like Superman and Cap do better when they're surrounded by other characters where they can show different sides of themselves and how they stand out. Because that isn't always easy to do when it's a singular character focused piece.
Yeah.
Marcus, how did it feel when they were citing all the different cities that had high crime rates, and they said Metropolis, Houston, and Gotham? Did you feel called out and attacked personally? Because if I were you, I most certainly would have.
Well, the fact that you didn't go coastal city, or like,
right?
You didn't name another fake place. You named it Houston.
yeah. That is what's jarring when they list it, because it's like in Metropolis, Houston, Gotham. It's so fucking obvious. So that was the last thing I wanted to ask.
Houston before Gotham just feels like
Houston before Gotham is like, fuck you.
Yeah, bro. It's like, what the fuck did Houston do to you, man?
Yeah. Anyway,
I would pull up the clip, but I don't want YouTube to get angry at us. But it's when they're in the newsroom, and it's such a weird pull. Like, even in 2006, it's like, what did Houston do?
Brian, I rewound and watched the part with the German people who are like announcing, because that clip of the German news where he shows up, because they're not worried about what's happening. They're like, oh no, like, no, oh, Superman. Like, that's like, except for like in German, like there's no panic in their voice. It's literally just like, oh no, yeah. Like, that's it. Like, it's insane.
What I love about this Supermania review is outside of just being able to talk Superman with the guys,
hell yeah,
the tone shifts is like, now we're about to see a very dramatic tone shift next week.
Oh yeah,
this is a subtle one. You're right.
This is a subtle one, and the cinematography, there's a lot of shifts that it takes because of the time between movies, right? And when they try to get it right, because Smallville is another it's not a movie, but Smallville was a very important piece of media when it comes to Superman and a young Superman story, and adding to the lore of Superman, because it just did a lot, right, in its own right. And it's obviously not a movie, so we don't review it here, but you got to consider that in between. Huh?
I said, and we never will.
Wow. All right.
No, keep going.
But no, it's very interesting as a concept to be, when Smallville is in between these big movie franchises, and it also has a tone, because it's a tween Superman drama that is also trying to add to who he was and his time in Smallville and then his time in Metropolis, and then you get this. And now the next thing that we get is Man of Steel. So you're going to see this massive tone shift in what story it's trying to tell, how it's shot, what they do with the character. And I think that's very interesting, man.
Yeah, I'm very excited to talk Man of Steel.
I love how about when there was still about a half hour left, so 2 hours of the movie we had watched at this point. But I turned to Maggie and I'm like, I completely understand how Man of Steel was made the way it was after watching Superman Returns. Like, it's almost like Zack Snyder watched it and he's like, no half measures.
The antithesis to it.
Like,
you're gonna go all in on all of it.
And I get it, and we'll talk about it next week, but I know Man of Steel is very divisive, so I'm very excited to get into it.
Gentlemen, anything else y'all want to talk about as it relates to Superman Returns?
No, we'll be back next week for the Man of Steel.
Man of Steel, and then we got the Big Show.
The Big Show.
Come on down for the Big Show. Hey.
Yeah, Big Show. Tune in Tuesday night. Big Show. Really big. Gentlemen, what do you all have to plug this week?
I'm here to tell you about thelovenerds.com. We already did
Really big show.
You can go to thelovenerds.com. Go check out my wife's business. She also has an Etsy shop, etsy.com/shop/thelovenerds.
Wait, you don't think I was doing a Trump, do you? Because I
That's
wasn't.
exactly what I heard.
Oh
That's exactly
no,
what
I was doing like the guy who did the Tonight Show before Johnny Carson. Like I don't remember his name, but that's what I was doing.
Oh, Mr. Television. Yep, I know who you're talking about.
Got a big show for you tonight. Really big. Marcus, what do you have to plug?
I did. That was before my time. Follow the mantra. Never offended, always humble. Make sure you are living the mantra every single day of your life. Go stream some Soul Tie, SOULTYE. Go stream Nothing Left right now. We got more music on the way. Go stream some Marcus J. Destin. Big Texas is on the way very soon, coming 7/1/3/25. So make sure that you are locked in, tuned in. Make sure you keep tuning in to Supermania Week. Keep sharing our clips. Keep pushing the things out. A lot of interaction on Superman posts last week in general, and so we really have been enjoying a lot of the conversation and commonalities that we've been having with people as we are on this road. Shouts out to Stephanie Williams, just because. Shouts out to James Gunn, my bestie for the resty, just because. And shouts out to this podcast. I'm so excited that the guys that we're all on this journey together. And if you're here not for that and you made it this far, we are also reviewing Fantastic Four as well. So like don't fret not all Superman.
Baby Gate 2025.
Yeah, no, it's not Baby Gate. That Baby Gate is bust wide open, baby.
People say I'm the Superman. Like that would have been like.
Was that
they looked at me and they said he's a Man of Steel. That's what they said.
It's gonna be a great July. That's what I'm gonna tell you. We're gonna talk about two Superman movies and a Fantastic Four movie. Doug, do you have anything to plug?
They looked at him and they said he must be the only one of his kind left, a real son of Krypton.
They really said I am the superest of all Superman.
Millions.
That's what they said. I didn't say it. They said that. I am
that Lex Luthor, more like little wham baby Lex. That's what they should call.
He thought he could do it, but he couldn't. That old Perry White. I went and bought that building from him. I did.
All right. I wanted to plug this podcast. If you enjoyed listening to just those quotes and just the last, I don't know, 5 seconds.
Really big.
Really big.
Really
like
big.
Some people say the biggest.
He may be an alien.
I could do this for guys 20 more minutes. Like, what is bedtime? But no, if you enjoyed our podcast, if you're enjoying Supermania month, head over to patreon.com/filmsinblackandwhite, sign up for one of our tiers. However, the biggest and the bestest thing that you can do to help support us is recommend us to a friend or a family member. That's how independent podcasts get more traction, is by having more folks listen, and we can only do that with your help. So we would sincerely appreciate it. Brian, we have a 3-step process to success. Brian, what is the first step? I think we broke Brian.
Yeah, that was.
I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you to read a book. When you're laughing a lot, read a book. Read a book.
We're laughing to keep from crying. To be honest,
that's what it is. That's what it is.
Also true.
Marcus, step 2, sir.
You know what I mean? If you want to return back to Earth after 5 years and try to get your baby mama back, drink some water. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to get some alkaline in you. You find out that you are indeed the final son of Krypton. There is no coming back from that. Make sure you drink some water, stay hydrated, show some emotion, and
show
some water.
Show some emotion.
You know what? That might have to be step 4. Wash your ass, read a book, wash your ass, drink some water, and show some
emotion. Show somebody you're real.
Yeah. Step 3, y'all. It's wash your ass. It's important. You're gonna be around some folks, whether you're by yourself, a small group, a big group for the 4th of July. You're gonna be around other people. So hey, be patriotic about yourself and wash your ass, because it's important. And so yeah, do that. We'll be back next week. We'll talk Man of Steel. Continuing Supermania month. But in the meantime and in the between time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all next week.
Word.
I know I'm no Superman.